Hey guys, it's Vince. Today in this video, I'm going to be discussing briefly the PLCM-E1B installation guide, also known as a user's manual. What's really interesting is that you actually get a user's manual. I know many of you have asked for these before. Some manufacturers actually include a user's manual, but I can tell you right now, this unit's user's manual is 13 pages, and you guys will be the judge for yourself. It's very, very thorough. It covers a lot of information, and again, really streamlined it in the sense of what you really need to know, what you don't need to know. For those of you that will be purchasing this set, of course you will be getting this user's manual, but what I usually get told is, Vin, you usually hit us with so much information at once, it's hard for me to disseminate all this information and digest it. And what I wanted to do is streamline that process by pointing out in just briefly some tips and just really covering over areas that I feel need direct correlation in terms of what's actually written in the manual, to break down as much information for you as possible, because again, questions are always going to be coming up, especially for my new guys. And again, this is a new release. There's a lot to break down with it, and I think you guys are going to be excited due to the fact that it's so simple, and especially with the picture of it right here, you can see if you're used to the Ethernet Smooth Stepper, if you're familiar with the Centroid Acorn, if you're familiar with UCC&C's Ethernet controllers, this unit is inclusive. There is no circuit board that you have to mess with. It's completely inclusive. It's completely plug and play, or let's put it this way, at the most sense of the most minimal amount of setup. You can see your 12-volt input here for power. It does come with the typical plug that will actually be connected with 2 leads. Once again, with the inline switch that I provide with the turnkey package. Here's your Ethernet port right here. And then, of course, you have your Connect LED, your Packet LED, which is for information, and your E-Stop LED that actually dictates when the unit's in E-Stop mode. Okay. Other than that, you can see exactly what it looks like. You don't have to deal with a circuit board. You're not dealing with mounting. You're not dealing with all of that stuff. It's a plug-and-play device. So coming over here, contents, general information. We got a delivery set, technical specs, basic sockets and indicators, software installation and setting, terms of warranty. As you go through the manual, you're going to notice right away that check Pumotix.com for more information. You can click on this. So again, you will be getting this document pending you do purchase the PLCM, and you'll be getting this document. This is my version of the document because my packages are turnkey, so I just edited it to make sure that you see exactly what you're getting. Just a brief overview. This device is a PLCM series controller. It has input and output ports and Ethernet interface for connection with PC. The port corresponds with the LPT port of the PC in form and location. So more or less, just to break it down, if you guys are looking to get Ethernet control out of a DB25 parallel port, this is going to be your best friend. You can see up here, here is the DB25 female parallel port. This unit accepts Ethernet on this end, which will be coming from your PC, and this end connects to your driver or your breakout board. When I say driver, a G540 is an integrated driver, so therefore this would connect to it, or a breakout board. And you can do that in many different ways in terms of cable or directly, and if you watch my PLCM assembly video, you'll see exactly what I mean by that. So as we come over here, delivery set, you can see it comes with PLCM-E1B controller, one of those, double shielded Ethernet cable, one of those, AC to DC inline switch, one of those, and AC to DC 12-volt 3-amp power supply, one of those. And once again, all of this inventory is included with my turnkey package, because then your unit is completely ready to go out of the box. Again, here we have our retention, turn off power device before making any connections. I know many of you are laughing at this, that I'm even pointing this out. I have a lot of guys, when they're doing testing, forget to do that. So please pay close attention to that. Power supply negative wire connection with ground, housing, etc. is forbidden. You don't need to do that. The unit must use the double shielded cable supplied in this package to ensure maximum signal stability. I added that, guys, because again, double shielded cable mitigates both frequencies, and regardless if we're using Ethernet or not, and regardless we are using 12 volts, which is once again a voltage not typically seen in CNC for devices like this, we still want to make sure we're using the proper cable, and once again that's why I included it. Coming down here, technical specs, you can see supply voltage 12 volt, maximum consumption current 250 milliamps. You can see here Ethernet connection. It goes into everything, step direction, enable signal transmission, input signal transmission. Steps signal maximum frequency is 100 hertz. Max number of simultaneously controlled axes 6. So again, many of you are already familiar with that. If we come down here, basic sockets and indicators, you can read all this. It's just going to break down how the LPT port is. And if we come down here, here's a diagram. Very good, important diagram if you want to know what PLCM pin number represents to the allocation, okay, for what control. Now, a lot of guys get confused with this. If you have this grid, or you have this up on your screen and you just copy everything down, you're going to see that this is very, very simple to understand when you're actually trying to control your units in terms of how you're going to control everything through the unit itself. And what I mean to say is that a lot of times guys hook things up, especially with a G540, and they don't look at what that parallel port connector on the drive is in terms of what each pin is actually controlling, or what each pin represents as far as a signal. These are things you really want to pay attention to as you set up your system. But right here, what you can see where the numbers start, so 1 through 13, then over here it starts 14 to 25. And you can see here how everything is broken down. Pins 18 through 25 are all grounds. The rest of them are allocated. And you can see here, now this enable pin, and I had a question on this because many of you are going to realize, like I did, we went through some things, and step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You notice it says it can support 6 axes, but it's not on there. Well, the enable pin you can actually set up for step 6, and then this way you'll have everything you need to control 6 axes. That's how easy it is to program the unit. Press and hold down reset, supply power, voltage, pressing reset, release reset in 1 to 2 seconds. If you watch my PLCM video on the assembly, you'll see that the unit does have a reset built into it, something you've never seen before. I know I've never seen it, and again, it's very, very nice to have if you want to do a hard reset on the device. Now, as we come down, you can see we have our software installation and settings. Okay. Turn on the controller and connect it to the Ethernet. A lot of times guys have asked me, what sequence do you follow? Well, guess what? It's all here. It's all here. It's something you're not used to seeing. But one thing I want to point out that I know many of you are not used to seeing. If you notice, here is a connection diagram. And you can see in this connection diagram, this is what we typically see on an Ethernet controller. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. And this is what we typically see. We see the actual robot itself, and then this unit would actually plug into the robot, be it the drive system, whether it's a G540, if it's a breakout board controlling an IDS system, which also known as individual drive system. And then this end right here would go into the actual PC. What you don't ever see is that you can actually connect this unit into a local network, which once again, a first. You don't see this typically on this type of equipment, not for the cost associated with this unit. You can actually use this unit with a network switch, a wireless hotspot. There you got your server set up, you got your client software. So again, depending upon how many units we're running, depending on your own personal setup, you can get by with this. And that's something that, once again, is very, very interesting. You can see here it says attention communication failure between the server and the controller automatically stops the program being executed by the machine. That's another interesting clause, once again, as like a a fail-safe, so to speak. Pay close attention to this, guys, because if you ever encounter it, these little attention notices, they're good to pay attention to, because if you do, once again, ever encounter it, it's easy to determine your issue as you troubleshoot. After starting the client of the program, a window for selecting the starting module will appear. A module is set up functionalities and interface elements loaded at program startup that is designed to support a particular workflow: milling, plasma cutting, gas cutting, etc. Once again, you've seen this in previous videos that I've already brought up. And again, some of these features, of course, you can see the version here is not matching the version I have. I have the latest version. You will have the same. So just keep in mind that the screenshots are all there. As we come down, now you can see when you have 9 axes, you can see exactly how extensive this software is. And like I said, there is literally, I have not seen anything like this at all on the market. There's a reason for it too. It is quite extensive. Select the starter module you need and confirm your choice with the OK button. After loading the selected module, the client interface will appear on the screen. And you can see here the interface of the client part connected to the server. The appearance, composition, of the controls may vary depending on the selected module and the theme used, also known as screen set. If the client part of the program at startup could not automatically connect to the server part for one reason or another, then the window will look like this. And you see it says server is not available. And once again, guys, take notes. They're actually showing you, if you do encounter an issue, what would occur. Now, I've already had some guys ask me, do you have to be on the server to be connected? You technically do not. I would actually have to get more detail on that, but there's a way to run it without you actually being connected. You can be offline, run it. So overall, it's up to you on how you configure this, but if the server is not available, you can see the appearance the client window does not have a connection to the server. In order to find the server part of the software and connect to it, click the Settings button. The Program Settings window will open on the General Settings tab. It will automatically search for servers available in your local network and connect to the first one found. That's simple. Another point I want to make, I'm just going to zoom in real quick. You can see we've got our simulator here, and I love that because a lot of guys, I don't feel, use simulators enough, and this is my own recommendation. As you're learning your software, play in simulator mode. Get used to navigating the software in simulator mode, and you know, in aviation, simulators are used all the time to train pilots for good reason, because again, we can simulate a lot of things and you're learning without risk, and this is the same principle. So why put the robot at risk? Why put anything at risk? Get familiar with the navigation format and then you'll understand. But you can see how extensive this is. We've got server address, server port, server version, clients connected, and then over here controller simulator. And why it's in simulator, if you see simulator, it means that your unit is not connected. You can see there's no license populating over here. If there's no user license populating, you will be in simulator mode. Okay, so don't panic. That's totally acceptable. If your actual controller is detected and everything is set up, you'll see your firmware version, your serial number, connection type, IP address, all things typically you don't see in most control software. And I can say that explicitly because I've been around it now for about 15 years in full extensive use, and this is a blessing to see this amount of information so readily available for you guys to see. Okay, you can see your selected server up here. Appearance tab of the settings, window general settings, and then we come over here. And once again, like I said, these are all over the place. So if you needed to click on it, you're good. List dedicated servers will be displayed in the upper left area of the screen, and you can see it comes down here. I'm not going to read everything word for word, but you can definitely see how fast it is to go through. You can read the English is very well written, very explicit with screenshots. At the end of the firmware update, the server will try to automatically connect to the controller. For this, the controller must have the correct IP address. Many of you are familiar with IP addresses. If you're not, once again, just follow the instructions. Everything is right here. You can see software installation and settings, and I mean everything right down to the screenshots. So again, very simple. Under most circumstances, I'd say 95%, the PLCM controller, like you see here, this message has been found, updating firmware. It'll do it automatically. Okay, so you won't really have to mess with too much. I know many of you used to the ESS where we have to, you know, configure out the actual server format of the system as far as the IP address. This is not typically done unless you have, again, a different non-formatted system. When I say non-formatted, if you have a specific system set up with maybe an internet switch or a different type of router, or maybe you've adjusted some firmware, or excuse me, some firewall settings. These are things that may interfere. So you'll just have to pay attention to those certain instances, because again, it's impossible for us to mitigate all of that with so many different PCs on the market. It's a very difficult thing to do. But keep in mind, and I cannot be more explicit with this system, Ethernet, will be able to be used seamlessly with both laptops, desktops, you name it. Again, we've got a lot of processing power here, so just keep that in mind. That's it's a very efficient way of sending our signals, and especially when we know we've got that level of stability, like I said, with the 12 volts built in for signal reception, you're going to have an amazing system. So as we come down here again, like I said, you can see all your windows and screenshots are all set. If you had to do anything or any adjustments, and the window, in the window that appears, set the IP address from the range of local address, for example, and then it says default mask address. If you guys are not familiar with this, once again, we have support. Just send a message, but overall, this is a very basic, straightforward process. Now configure the PLCM controller address to do this, and once again, you can see your actual Windows dialog box. Now, of course, if you're using Windows 10, if you're using Windows 7, these dialog boxes may be different. I get a lot of guys that'll say that. Well, why does my box look different than what's on the screen? And that's why. Different operating systems are going to have different updates done to them, and usually their screens and all their windows may not be exactly the same, but the principle is. So the main thing is just follow suit with what you're seeing as far as your IP addresses, your actual allocations like you see, and you'll be fine. Change the address button in the PLCM controller connection settings window. It appears. Select the use the following IP address option, then set the address from the same subnet as the address of the network card of your computer. For example, 192.168.1010. Default mask 255.255.255.0, and then click apply. This will configure the network access of the controller. Try again, and you can see PLCM controller settings. Obtain an IP from the DHCP server. Use the following IP address. And again, like I said, many of you guys, especially my ESS guys out there, you're looking at this and saying, wow, I can't believe, this is so much more advanced in terms of what we're used to dealing with, in the DOS formats. And that was something that I'm really happy about. I'm really happy that we're taking a step forward in, making things much more modern than we're used to seeing, not just in a simple screen set, but functionality. And that's something that, once again, I think as we go through this and you see more and more of this, you'll get a feel for it. Notice licensing parameters area of the buttons, general tabs, and once again you come through here. And the general tabs, this is something that's very interesting as well. You do get trials out of any additional modules that you would like to go with. You can actually do a trial of it, and you just would click on it. And you'll see that if you go in here, and this is your end user licensing, and the license manager will allow you once again to come in here and you can see all of the different options. You got your milling, oxy-fuel, laser cutting, base setup. It's amazing. 3D printing. Again, on that module, I don't know if that's included in this one with the latest revision. I'll have to look. It probably is. I'm not certain. I'll have to double check that. Once again, License Manager window consists of a features tree, a custom visibility filter, and a license control unit. It includes information about the license owner and controller, and also license request and activation buttons. In order to see the description of or activate the trial period if one is provided, left click on any feature. Once again, real straightforward, nothing difficult here. Use the Pumotix.com to select features and purchase a license. If you guys want to update modules at any time, you message me. I'll do my best to give you the best pricing on all the modules, and you'll be set. You never buy more than you have to. Once again, that's one of the highlights of the software. I think is amazing. Attention, trial period is not available for some features. Trial period is presented as a countdown. The duration of the trial period is reduced only during operation of the machine. Now, even if you can try any of the features, it's pretty neat to think that you can test it before you test drive it, so to speak, before you buy it. It makes sense. It does, because a lot of you guys are like, man, I need that. And then you try it and you're like, maybe I don't need that. So again, it prevents you from investing more than you have to, but it also keeps the door open, so to speak. If let's say you try something today, you don't feel you need it as much, but later on you do, you didn't buy it. So again, you still save the money, you still tried the feature, and later on down the road, if you decide you need it, you can do that. Okay? Follow these steps to activate the license. You can see, and you can see how everything is kind of broken down here. Base setup, general features, and you see no active license, trial unavailable. So this particular unit does not, or I should say module, does not have an actual trial available. And it makes sense because this one's for one additional motor. So it really doesn't make sense for them to do that. You can see the license to information is just blurred out here. Serial number is up here. Expiration date, once again, your licenses are perpetual. Let me say that again. Whether it's the free Step 1 version or the Step 2 version of the software, whatever version of Pumotix you're using, all of their licenses are perpetual. Okay? That means it's indefinite. And again, it's perfect that way. If you need to see what each of these actual modules do, you'll see a definition over here. It says selected feature description. You'll see that as you go through the software. I did cover this in another video. License to, once again, will be end user name. But you can see here, unlimited mode is available, license applied. When a license is applied, it turns green. It says perpetual, and you see exactly what's up. As far as terms of warranty, you'll notice the warranty period is 36 months through eDealers Direct. Once again, that's my company, and I cannot emphasize enough, if you buy through me, you got a 3-year warranty on a unit, which you guys do your own math, you figure it out, do due diligence. No one offers a 3-year warranty. So again, I wanted to give you guys the best value, the most peace of mind, and again, software that I use and the reason I use it. Like I said, I hope you try it. I hope I've answered many of your questions. I know with more and more videos comes up more and more questions. It's inevitable. So again, if you do have questions, please message me direct at storm2313@gmail.com. Those are that email's fine for quotes, consultations, once again, questions, whatever it may be, custom software packages, or you can message me once again through my eBay store, eDealers Direct. You'll see links in the description below, in the video description. You'll also see them in the beginning of the video and at the end. And once again, I hope that this just overview of the 13-page manual has helped you guys. Again, just going over briefly, you see exactly what you're dealing with. This is a very, very straightforward process. You have documentation now. All of these manuals will once again be emailed to you upon the purchase of an actual package, so you'll be set. And of course, you do have support if you require it, but 98% of you are able to read these manuals very easily. They're very well written, and you should be fine. I mean, the module itself, as far as the PLCM, will find itself under, I would say, like I said, 90–95%. It's going to find itself automatically, set up its IP address, and you'll be off to the races. I know many of you are not used to that, but that's the way it is. So we try to keep everything as simple as possible. So again, to all my subscribers, I love you guys. Thank you for your support. I hope the video has been helpful. Take care.